Let's be honest, you've been sold a lie about how to get rich. Every year the Forbes 400 list comes out, and we all look at the famous names, right? But we're missing a huge secret that's hiding in plain sight. It's a whole new blueprint for building massive wealth, and spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with viral apps or becoming a celebrity.
For the first time ever, a wild 71% of the people on this list are self-made. Just let that sink in. Nearly 3 out of 4 of them didn't inherit a dime. They built their fortunes from scratch. This isn't just a tiny trend. It is a massive shift in how the wealth game is played.
So who are these new billionaires, really? Well, you can forget the myths. We're not talking about viral apps or Hollywood A-listers. The reality? They're getting rich from stuff like data labeling for AI, drive-through coffee huts, and freight platforms. Seriously, they're owning the boring, essential businesses that everyone else just completely ignores. So, if you're still thinking the only way to get rich is to catch lightning in a bottle with some hot new trend, you're playing by the wrong rules. The real money today, it's being made with a completely different playbook. And that new strategy is what we're calling the bottlenecks playbook. It's not about being famous or flashy. Nope. It's all about owning the hidden essential plumbing that the entire economy absolutely depends on.
So what in the world is a bottleneck? It's actually really simple. Think of it as a choke point that you control. It's like owning the only bridge into a city where everyone has to pay you a toll to get across. You control the flow.
And here they are, the whole framework. These are the 11 wealth engines, or levers, that the richest people today are using. You've got everything from logistics and land to knowledge and IP. Now, I know seeing all 11 at once can feel, well, a little overwhelming. But here's the secret. You don't need to master all of them. Just focusing on 1 or 2 can be an absolute game changer.
So for right now, let's just focus on 3 of the most powerful and honestly most repeatable engines from this playbook that you can see happening all around you.
This brings us to our first engine, owning the bottleneck itself. You've heard the saying, right? The person who controls the road to the mine always makes more money than any single miner. It's all about creating a modern-day monopoly on access. So here's the play. First, you find something that's scarce but totally essential, like, say, human-labeled data for training AI models. Step 2, you go out and buy up all the small, kind of messy companies that control this resource. Then you package them all up, you make them look super professional, and you rebrand them. And finally, you sell that whole package to a tech giant for a massive payday.
Okay, engine number 2 is all about tools. This is that classic advice. Instead of trying to dig for gold yourself, which is risky, you sell the picks and shovels to every single person who wants to try. Your risk goes way down and your market gets way, way bigger.
And here's the modern version of that play. You find these small niche software tools, SaaS tools that are critical for a booming industry like AI. You buy them up, you bundle them into one must-have package, and then you sell that powerful suite to what's called a hyperscaler, a giant company like NVIDIA or Google. It is a brilliant way to cash in on a trend without taking on all the crazy risk.
The third engine, this one might just be the most powerful of all. It's called capital cycling. And that's really just a fancy way of saying you use other people's money to build your fortune. It is the ultimate form of leverage.
So check this out. Here's how it works. You buy a business using almost none of your own cash. It's mostly bank loans. Then you get in there and you make the business run better, so it's making more money. Now here's the magic trick. You use that extra value to get a brand new, bigger loan, and you use that loan to pay yourself back for your original investment. You now control a profitable asset essentially for free. You just do this over and over, build a whole platform of businesses, and then you exit for a massive return.
So, how does this all tie together? Well, underneath all these different strategies, there is a simple, repeatable formula at the very core of this new billionaire blueprint. It really just boils down to this 4-step pattern. First, you identify an overlooked opportunity, a bottleneck. Second, you add value by making it better. Third, you scale it up. And fourth, you exit by selling it to someone who needs it even more than you do. This is the fundamental engine that's driving all these new fortunes. And that really leaves us with one final question for you. Forget the flashy stuff. Start looking at the hidden plumbing in your own industry, in your own world. What essential, unsexy choke point is hiding right there in plain sight, just waiting for someone like you to come along and see its real value? Because that is where the real opportunities are today.